talking about is how can you blend what you're passionate about, what drew you to this energy fair, what prompts your green mission, your earth mission, and how can you make that be a part of your life? And on that personal note, we are on a farm about 3 hours due east of here in Serendipity, where we run a bed and breakfast, and we write on these issues and raise our son and do a whole lot of things, a little mini eco zip code, if you will. We run our farm on renewable energy. And through the bed and breakfast, we've probably served over 1,000 breakfasts over the last 12 years since we've been open. And I've kind of come to this conclusion that everybody who comes through our door reminds me of food. And for those of you guys who were at my organic eating on a dime presentation this morning, food's a real passion of ours. So that said, types of people. We have our carrots. Maybe you guys recognize some of these. They travel in bunches. They're kind of tall. They know what's going on. They're very straight, very narrow, and they prescribe things that we need to do. They've got strong opinions. We have the eggs. Eggs are really tough on the outside. Hard shell, but you crack it a little, and they're real gooey, mushy, don't really know what's kind of going on. And then we have coffee. Little beans kind of sticking together in a jar, not too interesting perhaps, but they hang out together. But the key I've learned with food and with people is what happens when we experience some tough times, what happens when adversity hits, when things change, when the environment starts changing, and we really need to do something about it. So basically what happens if we add hot water to the mix? Any reference to global warming? Feel free, feel free. All right, so we add the water in there. And then what happens? Well, we cooked our carrot, right? What happens to carrots once they hit hot water? They mush. They fall apart. These things that were strong in opinions and had the right answer to everything, all of a sudden, when true chaos hits, their theories don't work anymore. They fall apart. They turn to mush. And then we have the eggs. All right, they were hard on the outside, mushy on the inside before. Right now, they cook. What are they? They're mushy on the outside, hard on the inside. They totally changed. Sort of, whichever way the wind's blowing, whichever way the TV show's going, whichever way the polls are going, they change based on the situation. But nothing's really happening. But then we have those coffee beans, right? And what happens to coffee when it hits hot water? They change the situation. They take the hot situation, they take that hot water, and they make it into something better. In my opinion, something really good. And that's our theory on ecopreneuring and our personal theory on life, and something I think we all share as kindred spirits at the fair. How can we change the situation? How can we be coffee and be those beans and look at the world today, see things with opportunity, work together, little beans, and come out with something even better? And that's what we're going to share with you guys in our brief time here together, is some ideas on some of these trends, some of these issues, and hopefully leave all of us with some seeds of inspiration to take back, to start thinking differently perhaps about our livelihood, our life, and our daily routines. Ecotourism, green travel. People want to stay at a place like ours. That's, as John put it, a little crunchy farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, as my mother still puts it, Wisconsin, because we run on renewable energy, because we serve a really local 100 feet from garden to plate. Say, if we could give you guys a stock tip, which believe me, if we could, we would, that has a guaranteed 120% return on investment, what would it be? That's the return on compact fluorescence. That was one of the first steps we did when we moved to our 100-year-old farmhouse, is switch all the bulbs. That's the boring stuff. People like to talk about the sexy wind turbine much more. But it's these kind of things that we can control, and big surprise, we haven't replaced any of those since. The rules are changing, bottom line. And some of these traditional business books you read, the bed and breakfast books, go look at one at Borders and flip to like startup. And I think the going estimate by the Bed and Breakfast Association is $15,000 per room. I think if you take out 3 decimal points and you go like $5.99, that's what we started each of our rooms on. We started our bed and breakfast. The only thing new we purchased were mattresses. Everything else was reused, recycled, sitting in someone's closet. A little elbow grease, a little refinishing. You don't need a lot to start something. We joke about it. It's one of these situations where like sexual harassment is not only not illegal, it's like our employee motivation plan on the farm. But it works for us. We didn't have this master plan when we met out of college that this is what it was going to be. But when you're like that, when you're so integrated on a daily basis with the people that you love, it works, and it connects you in ways you never thought about before, and in some ways you really don't want to think about again, but it works for us, and that's a big part of our story. And if it's things you would like to see in your own life, he looks down, there's a little branch, maybe a foot down, before the 200-foot drop. He said, I'll hold on to that, and the tigers won't get me. I'll be 200 feet from the ground, but at least I'll be alive, right? So he holds onto the branch, and he's holding on. The tigers are chewing above, when all of a sudden, speaking of chewing, he notices 2 mice chewing on the branch. It's looking better and better all the time. I think this is the part now where he blames his wife, but he moves on quickly, and then he sees, past the mice, there's a strawberry growing, which are, of course, no longer in season. Sometimes I get a good visual aid here from the garden, but there's this beautiful red strawberry growing on the vine. It's perfect. And he says, maybe if I reach far enough, I'll get the strawberry. So he does, and he eats it, and it's delicious. It's the best strawberry he ever had in his life. Okay, well, you kind of can get the short ending of the story, and it's not particularly good. The meaning of all of this is that the tigers are death, and the mice are time. And they're both going to get us eventually. You know, death's going to catch up with us, and the time is going to eventually fall off as well. There's only so much of it. And the point is, eat the strawberry. You know, there's something here today. There's something here at this moment that is beautiful and ripe and delicious, and to enjoy it and eat it and savor it and live it. And that's the message we'd like to leave with you guys and share this weekend is what's that strawberry? You know, what's that thing right here, right now that can really bring joy and to go after it? Because everything else is going to happen.